So to do a little follow-up on the Radcon 5 situation that we had this past week on the West Coast, which actually a few sensors in Colorado and other places were also reading high levels of radioactive activity. I decided to do a little searching on the interweb to see if I could somehow find a connection to why we were getting high level readings on the West Coast. I suspected it was Fukushima, but it was only suspicions. I had no proof of that. The writing was on the wall, the jet stream and the way the weather has been over there in the Pacific led me to believe that it was Fukushima radiation that was reaching the West Coast. But now I have all the proof that I need. Here's an article from 1010, Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, last month, speaking about Fukushima. Japan will have to dump radioactive water into the Pacific, minister says. More than 1 million tons of contaminated water lies in storage, but the power company says it's going to run out of storage space by 2022. So you know what that means. The article continues by saying the operator of the ruined Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant will have to dump huge quantities of contaminated water from the site directly into the Pacific Ocean. Japan's environmental minister has said, a move that would enrage local fishermen. Geez, you wonder? And then you're going to feed them fish to your local people? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. More than 1 million tons of contaminated water has accumulated at the plant since it was struck by the tsunami in 2011, which triggered a triple meltdown. And once those reactors start melting down, you ain't stopping them. They will continue to melt and bore down in through the earth until who knows when. Tokyo Electric Power, TEPCO, has struggled to deal with the buildup of groundwater, which becomes contaminated when it mixes with water used to prevent the 3 damaged reactor cores from melting. Well, wait a minute. I thought they said that the article mentioned that they did melt down, so what do you mean prevent them from melting when they've already melted? TEPCO has attempted to remove most radionuclides from the excess water, but the technology does not exist to rid the water of tritium, a radioactive isotope of hydrogen. Coastal nuclear plants commonly dump water that contains tritium into the ocean. It occurs in minute amounts in nature, yeah, but not thousands of times like what we're having happen right here. TEPCO admitted last year that the water in its tanks still contain contaminants besides tritium. Yeah, we can imagine what's in there. Currently, more than 1 million tons of contaminated water is held in almost 1,000 tanks at the Fukushima Daiichi site, but the utility has warned that it will run out of tank space by the summer of 2022. The only option will be to drain it into the sea and dilute it. Yoshiki Harada told the news briefing in Tokyo on Tuesday. The whole of the government will discuss this, but I would like to offer my simple opinion. No decision on how to dispose of the water will be made until the government has received a report from a panel of experts. Yeah, experts, alright. Other options include vaporizing the liquid or storing it on land for an extended period. Whatever his name is said that they didn't know how much water would need to be discharged into the ocean. One recent study, not even going to try to say his name, who has a committee studying the decommissioning of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant at the Atomic Energy Society of Japan, said it could take 17 years to discharge the treated water after it has been diluted to reduce radioactive substances to levels that meet the plant's safety standards. Well, I think that all went through the door long ago. Any decision to dispose of the wastewater into the sea would anger local fishermen who have spent the past 8 years rebuilding their industry. Nearby South Korea has also voiced concern over the impact it would have on the reputation of its own seafood. Yeah, just contaminate the hell out of the place even more. None of them need to sell anything, do they? Or you can just sell it all to the rest of the world and, it's okay. Last month, blah blah blah, whatever his name is, senior Japanese embassy official, to explain how Fukushima Daiichi wastewater would be dealt with. Ties between the Northeast Asian nations are already at a low, have been following a compensation dispute over Koreans forced to work in Japan's factories during the Second World War. The government spent 34.5 billion yen to build a frozen underground wall to prevent groundwater reaching the 3 damaged reactor buildings. The wall, however, has succeeded only in reducing the flow of groundwater from about 500 tons a day to about 100 tons a day. Japan has come under renewed pressure to address the contaminated water problem before Tokyo hosts the Olympics and Paralympics next summer. 6 years ago, during the city's bid for the Games, the Prime Minister assured the international community that the situation was under control. So do y'all really think the situation is under control over there? What is everybody's thoughts on the situation? Do you think these officials are being truthful about this situation? And if you liked this video, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for further updates on the situation.